Should he be fighting for the vacant belt next? Now, there's a lot of things to get through this, so do listen carefully. I am not sure that'll be next. Ariel spoke to Jiri yesterday. Jiri said he's in Thailand and he's working on his wrestling. He said to Ariel, my next opponent is a more stand-upper. It looks like it's not confirmed yet. So when he was talking about going over to do camp in Thailand, my ultimate question is, was Jiri scheduled to fight somebody prior to Pereira versus Blachowicz? Now you're probably thinking, yeah, it probably was Jamal Hill. But why was that fight not announced? Is it just poor timing? Did they not get a deal done in time? And then Jamal Hill got injured. Jiri also said, Alex has the chance to show a good title fight. I'd like to see him as an opponent in my next fight. Because he didn't want to reveal anything. He didn't want to reveal that. He didn't say directly, Alex is definitely the next guy in line for me. He didn't. From the vibe that I got from his conversation, I think he did have someone lined up. I don't think the UFC would have said to him, look, you're going to get the winner of Blachowicz versus Pereira. Because yes, both guys are stand-up guys. But if you're the UFC, how can you guarantee a quick turnaround? Because look, one thing to add in this is we need to fill 2 UFC cards. Because when are we going to see this title fight happen? That's the question. Jiri wants to fight this year. Okay, he said that. So the cards that have not got main events at the moment are as follows. You've got UFC 293 in Sydney, Australia. That fight card is happening 10th of September. That's not too far away. We need a main event. Alex Volkanovski, he's out. Okay, he's recovering from injury. Israel Adesanya, I'll get to some chats in a minute. He wants to fight on that card. Right? But he's got some issues because Dricus du Plessis doesn't want to fight then. And Sean Strickland has ruled himself out of the title fight. Oh, look, put 2 and 2 together, guys. That's all I'm saying. Because the other card that we've not got a main event before the end of the year is UFC 296 in December 16th in Las Vegas. But that'll be a big card. That, I think, was the card that they were targeting McGregor versus Chandler. Now, do you do a vacant light heavyweight title fight as a co-main event for Jones versus Miocic fight? Maybe. I don't know. Is it main event worthy, or should it be a main event? If it's Jiri and Alex Pereira, it's rare that they'll do that. Let's see. Okay, let's get some chats then. George Murray says, unless they do Izzy versus Jiri, it's gotta be Alex versus Jiri or Alex versus number 1 contender if the light heavyweight division has a ranking at the moment. Blockhead says, if Alex stops Jiri, when Jamal Hill returns, Alex versus Hill is a huge for an undisputed title if Alex can beat Jiri. Agree with that. Blockhead says, all the ranked light heavyweights coming off of a loss. The only win column is Jiri and Hill. Alex cannot punch down in the rankings. Yep, totally agree with you with that. But look, I think I've got a feeling that the UFC will turn to Jiri and offer him Izzy in Sydney, Australia. Question is, does Izzy want to do that fight? It's quite short notice in his backyard. Well, okay, not quite his backyard, but next to his backyard. So, although he lives in the US now, so he did say that he wants to fight on that card, though. So, look, that's the only real option. Was that fight potentially talked about prior to Pereira and Blachowicz? Was it offered to Jiri? That's my question. And if Jiri is training his wrestling, it's going to be an interesting fight, Izzy versus Jiri. I would personally make it. However, I mean, we're going to get into the potential trilogy between Pereira and Izzy, but for the UFC looking at it now, that would set up the trilogy. If Izzy was to beat Jiri, of course, for the light heavyweight strap. And I guess the question is, does Pereira want to fight in another yet quick turnaround fight for the light heavyweight belt? Maybe. I mean, one thing I can say is that Yuri had a phone call off Glover Teixeira straight after the fight. So Glover was putting in the works to get Pereira that fight with Yuri. But when is it going to be is the question, you know? It's not looking good at the moment.